Maybe let me set the context first. When we're talking about 10x, DHI has also come up with the 10x strategy. In the 10x strategy, there's three sub-strategies. One is portfolio management strategy. This strategy looks at managing the 25 or so odd companies that are in the DHI portfolio of companies. The second one is investment strategy. It looks at investing in new industries and making new investments for Bhutan. And the third one is the innovation strategy. And I am one of the many faces behind the innovation strategy. So when we talk about the innovation strategy, what it means for the 10x, what it looks like right now, I can start off by saying in our framework, in our research, in our discussions, we've come up with a triangular framework. It's drivers, enablers, and facilitators. When we're talking about drivers, now I'll talk about DHI specifically, but this can be broadened into including what Aerotech does, including what RUB is also doing. But when we're talking about drivers, the drivers is part of the Initech team that does applied research looking into IoT, AI/ML, blockchain. How do we solve local challenges? How do we adopt new and emerging tech? And then how do we use it for the benefit of Bhutan? Then there's the other part of this, which is the enabling part. You mentioned policy regulations. So we do have, because DHI is 100% owned by Ministry of Finance, we do have comfortable communication channels with the government. And for something like the drone industry where Aerotech is involved, we are trying to first test out a regulatory framework that's safe for Bhutan, does enable a lot of economic activities, but also we ensure that it's aligned with the GNH values, and then ensure the drone tech is not used for harm. So these are the type of discussions we have with the government. The other angle of the enabling part is funding and financing for research. That's something I think Bhutan I think is a cash poor country, but we're very rich in a lot of other ways. So we're trying to find how do we bring in the money to finance R&D. And this R&D is really important for Bhutan because instead of just adopting AI, instead of just using AI tools, can we contribute something internationally towards the AI industry? Can we do, GNH tokenization on blockchain, or can we do the ethics and mindfulness of AI that's sourced out of research from Bhutan and then have impact on the rest of the world? So for our innovation strategy, we can't be limited to what we're doing in Bhutan, what we're adopting in Bhutan. It has to come to also what can we create in Bhutan and give the rest of the world. Because at the end of the day, we as Buddhis also have a lot of wisdom that most of it's untainted. And then we can work with new type of emerging tech and see what we can produce for the rest of the world. Now that's also the enabling part where there's access to finance and the policy discussions. The third part of the triangle is the facilitation part that we're doing. So I'm sure many of you know, but we inaugurated the Jimmy Namgawancha Super Fab Lab in 2022, June, if I'm not mistaken. So the lab is supposed to be an open platform to bring together academics, innovators, startups, much like Aerotech here, and work together and see if we can collaborate on something. And this goes to sort of reflect what our Honorable Lempo was mentioning about collaborating over competing, building the competence, right? So even in in this entire ecosystem, we also include the academic institutions because we want to do research with them, along with them, and have it. It doesn't have to be for DHI, but it has to be for Bhutan. But it has to be for benefit. Those are the things that we're focusing on. Innovators and startups are also very welcome, and they're also looking at impact investors who might be interested in seeing some good done in the world. All we can come up with is maybe our traditional wisdom and the energy because the team's really young, and then we just want to hit the ground, try and do something and have impact for Bhutan and for the rest of the world. And this is where I think the future generation comes in. If you guys have ideas, if you guys are interested in knowing, if you guys want to talk, have ideas and explore, we're very open. I'm happy to meet some of you after the meetings, but you can also reach out to us through our social media channels and see if we can work together on anything. But that's sort of everything in a nutshell that's happening on ground. I can talk about specific projects, but I'll save it for later so there's more time, I think. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. It sounds like quite a breathless pace, at which so many initiatives are being undertaken. And what just stuck to my mind when you were speaking is the GNH tokenization of blockchain. How interesting is that? And also the fact that as a thought process, we're looking at contributing, to the innovative global ecosystem. and what can Bhutan bring to the table is something we should all be thinking about. So thank you for your wonderful comments, and I'm going to move on to Dr. Galbraith from GMC.
So GMC is of course has a domestic mandate and an international mandate, both envisioned by His Majesty. But I would distinguish between what GMC is intended to do for Bhutan, which is quite practical. It's to reverse the brain drain that we've been seeing. It's to create local jobs. People that maybe would have gone to Australia 2 years ago could find employment and opportunities in GMC. It's to support the 10x vision of Bhutan. That's the domestic role. But I would say similar to what Panju has been saying, Mr. Nandi. There's also an international role that GMC is going to play, which is to bring Bhutan to the rest of the world and to be hopefully a compass or sort of map for people of how the innovation and new developments that we're seeing can be integrated into a framework that's sustainable and that is not just optimizing for short-term growth, but also can become a vehicle for hopefully 100, 200 years rather than just looking at the next quarter as many other jurisdictions and countries do. I think relating to education and AI, I think GMC also has quite a unique mandate because two angles. One is that we find that one of the main determinants of people wanting to move to a special administrative region, like we've seen in other places in Hong Kong or Dubai, is people being comfortable sending their kids to school in that region. So one of the key strengths that we see in other special economic zones, for all their flaws, is that the education systems are really, really strong. So I think GMC has a mandate to be a place where people don't just want to work, but also want their kids to go to school. Similar thing applies to actually the healthcare. So two key pillars for us are will people be comfortable living there, feel like they get good medical care and good education? That's one aspect of the mandate for GMC. The other one is that we are promising something to these international players that are coming in, which is that the Bhutanese talent will be able to fulfill their needs. And so we and the rest of Bhutan have a responsibility to train a workforce that will meet the needs of the companies that are coming in, be it the crypto companies, the construction companies, the consulting and software engineering companies. So now, especially for GMC, all of us have a responsibility to make sure that Bhutan's workforce is equipped to meet the demands of the companies coming in. Final aspect about intersection of AI and GMC is that we have the advantage of starting from a blank slate in many ways. And so a lot of the systems that we're building now in GMC, such as can be quite dry public services like tax collection, corporate registration, customs system, immigration systems. All this is being done from scratch, of course, with the support of the existing ministries in Bhutan, but in many ways also trying to re-envision how these systems can work. So since we're starting from scratch, we have an opportunity to do digital first, to not have as much baggage as if we try to reform existing institutions. And so we have a responsibility to make sure that all the public services that are coming up in GMC are AI informed, that they're technologically cutting edge, and that spans across working with software engineers that can develop more quickly because they're using AI in their workflows. That also means that our internal communication within the GMC team is making use of chatbots and kind of automated coordination. And then, of course, also for external stakeholders, for us to have an AI-powered interface for people coming in and having questions about how GMC works. So I think this blank slate aspect of GMC is one place where we have an opportunity to innovate more quickly than if we were trying to reform existing institutions.
As an entrepreneur, I started with aerotech not just to fly the drones, but then use it as a tool to solve the real problems now. And in Bhutan, we have a very misconception, a small misconception between a businessman and an entrepreneur. So if I talk about that, a business person always starts a company which will make it profitable, like make it sustainable, give him money. But entrepreneur, they try to fill the gaps. They try to solve the problems. They try to identify the real problems and then bring out a very different change in the ecosystem. So this is what I plan to do. Before I came to Bhutan, actually, I was working in Jaipur. I got a campus placement and I was working as a fixed-wing UAV engineer. So during that course of time, I was traveling in and around India. I've been to the Western Ghats, been to Eastern Ghats, I've been to the North India side, and then at that time I saw so many things which made me realize that the education system that we are having right now needs to integrate. So that is actually the talk of 2018, 2017. So our education system needs to integrate the newer technology, bringing STEM education, not just STEM, but STEAM education where the arts are also involved. Letting our students have the experiential learning, let our students not just read the theories, but use it in a practical way. So now, if I talk about the entrepreneurial ecosystem right now in Bhutan, our system, our country, our nation needs to start with the mentorship, the access to mentorship, access to financial, the loans or the financially making the entrepreneurs free, giving them a space to move their hands where the policymakers come into play. Because in my experience, it took me almost 2 years to get a sectoral clearance because the policy restricted me. It was a mandate of the government where no private individuals were allowed to own the drone or even fly the drone. So, it took me almost 2 years, and then the persistence helped me to get to this point actually. And during this course of time, I was quite frustrated with the bureaucracy that we were faced with. But this bureaucracy actually made me learn so many lessons. So it made me stronger. It made me understand what the journey of entrepreneurship really means, and then how can we overcome the obstacles that we face during this phase of time. So now I'm proud to say that I already developed this drone firm, and then we are in actually 42 different countries globally. So globally we are recognized as Bhutan Flying Labs, and also I'm representing as the entrepreneur of residence to Lemon Ideas India, where we bring in the entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs, the tech entrepreneurs, innovators. We mentor them, we teach them, and then give them freedom for the financial access.
IUB, as the largest higher education provider in the country, has a total of 11 colleges, 9 constituent colleges, and 2 affiliate colleges. And therefore, we bear the responsibility of connecting the vision of the country and translating it into the outcome. And whatever the 3 panelists here have talked about will also have to be facilitated through whatever we do, because it is through the translation of the aspirations, vision, and whatever the plannings that different agencies are doing into the human capital development that will allow us to actually achieve the desired goal. And even if we look at education has always been the driver of development, not only in Bhutan, but everywhere. And RUB in the context of be it in 10x economy or digital economy, or maybe in the context of GMC or drone technology, whatever it may be, I think we have the greater responsibility of connecting the human wisdom with the kind of transformation you would like to achieve. And therefore, whatever we are doing at the university is geared towards achieving all this. It cannot be mere acceleration of our growth just for the want of economic development, but it should also be based on the kind of values that we have been cherishing for the last many years, and because of which the country is taken to a different level. So, cognizant of all such requirements at the OVC and also through the initiatives of the Royal University of Bhutan, we are consistently focusing on fostering creativity, innovation that is deeply rooted in being so mindful and sustainable in nature, because of which we have also relooked into the vision of the university and put it as a global beacon of an enlightened education, innovation, and research for prosperous and sustainable future. I think it all captures everything. And as for the AI, I think while we may want to shy away from AI, but this is not the time. We will have to embrace AI, but wisely. The risk that we could foresee is it might, if not used properly, compromise the creativity, analytical thinking of the students. But in whatever policies and initiatives that we take at the OVC and through the Royal University of Bhutan, we would like to use it and leverage it for enhancing the three C's. The usage of AI should allow both the educators as well as the students to conceive the ideas, create the ideas, and then commission the ideas. If these three C's are compromised, I think we might be making a mistake. So because which we are seeking collaborations with the international universities, the local agencies, and private sectors to co-create ideas, come up with innovations that is not just relevant to drive the vision of the Bhutan in terms of development, but also in terms of developing the programs that are of relevance, not at the moment, but in the future too. However, we also face challenges in terms of not being able to promote the kind of research output that we make and the scholarships we create, because of which we are seeking very strongly with the private sectors and with the international agencies to actually take our focus on the research and scholarship to a higher level. But otherwise, I would like to believe that RUB has a very immense responsibility to translate visions into human capability, not just the competencies, but the capabilities.
It comes back to the people. I think when I said STEM, and then when you said STEAM, arts, and then you reflected that arts is also important. So at the end of the day, I'm not too aware of all the syllabi that's available in RTC, but whatever you're learning is useful because only engineers can solve problems. Engineers can build something, but they can't come up with creation. So regardless of what you're learning, there is a role for you. That's one thing that needs to be put out there. The other thing is whatever we're doing, right? Whatever I'm doing at my age, it's I don't think I'll be in here long enough to be on the ground to like benefit from it and then progress it even more than it has. So for me, I feel like and people at my age range, we're just laying the groundwork for the future to come in, the youth to come in and then take off on it. So we're working with AI, we're working with IoT, we're working with blockchains. But when you say we're doing this, what exactly are we doing? First things first, a lot of things need to be tried in Bhutan at a smaller scale, so the risk is maintained within a controlled field. Once the trial and error is done, then you can open up the field for more ideas to come from the youth, find new ideas. I know there's an environmental course here, so can we use blockchain to solve something in environments? Can we use AI to maybe track and monitor plant diseases and crops? I mean, it's possible to do that, but to do that in Bhutan is also a completely different challenge. And this is where we're looking at the youth for more ideas, for more energy, and also to figure out, can we just experiment and try something out? That's, I think, is the role of the youth. That's why I keep saying we're an open platform for innovation. So I keep again inviting you guys to come down to the lab, have a discussion with us, meet one of our tech supervisors, meet one of our engineers, see what you guys can do together. Because we see in a tech, right? We see ourselves as tools for maybe AI, maybe blockchain, maybe digital fabrication. We know how to work with the machines, but we're not aware of all the problems that exist all around the world or all over Bhutan. So we need people to come with us with problems so we can go develop these solutions that can leverage tech to solve this.
Taking myself as an example, when I started with the UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, so I used it as a tool to do the surveying, mapping. I used it as a tool for the various industrial asset monitorings, and then doing in mappings, creating 3D models, doing the analysis, going for GIS, geotechnical surveys and everything. But then at the core, what I feel is that these are the things which are called as the digital transformation. So what I believe is that even it doesn't have to be a person who is under the STEM sector. It can be anyone. You just need to have that the entrepreneurial mindset, not as a career choice, but then what I believe is you can have the essence of entrepreneurs. You can learn how to do the design thinking. You can learn to do critical analysis. You can learn to do how to be creative, how to cross the horizons. Because what I feel is a person is called as a successful when he attains the goal that he has set for himself. So let's say I want to be, if I want to be somewhere in a place where Elon Musk is right now, and if I attain that, yes, I'm successful. But there might be a person who wants to earn or reach his bank balance to $50 million. If he attains that, he's successful for himself. So it's the young innovators, the young youths that we have right now should develop these skills of how to analyze things. Problem solving doesn't have to be really big, but problem solving to a very minor, a very small scale can make a very big difference. Like last time when I was talking with His Majesty's RTC, Joshua actually mentioned that he tries to solve the problems in a very small scale. Like while he was biking towards Dojula, he saw a person praying on the way. But then he saw that he was just next to the roadside. And then we thought, maybe a small the reflector waste will help him, not just him, but to the drivers also who are driving by. So, these are the small contributions, these are the small things that you can think about. And then what DHI Innotech is doing right now, they have created they have created a platform where the young innovators can go, try, fail, and build better. So what I say is, you have to learn fast, you have to fail fast, but you have to get up faster. So you need to have that curiosity in exploring. You need to have the courage to take a risk. You need to be responsible enough to build with purpose. So this is what I feel.